Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob Pratt, and welcome back to Something Sinister, where we explore the horror in fact and in fiction. And right off the bat, guys, you're gonna have to forgive me for being maybe perhaps a little bit more nasally or low energy this time around, because I am actually coming out of COVID at the moment, which hasn't been fun. But quarantine has allowed me to get this video done, so I guess there's a positive to being nasally. But anyways, guys, today I have yet another iceberg for you. This is going to be known as the Haunting Internet Images Iceberg. Try saying that 10 times fast. Now, this iceberg is very unique to me. It is like a lot of my icebergs, a lot of them, could go on forever and ever, especially given such a broad topic like haunting internet images. But just keep in mind that these are images that I personally myself had come across, growing up as a child on the internet and found to be particularly haunting or disturbing. If there was anything that maybe I forgot to mention, leave it down in the comments section below. Also, I remember putting up a little community blurb asking you guys for any haunting images that you saw that maybe I saw or maybe I forgot about. Some of those did make the list, so thank you so much for the people who contributed to that. I appreciate you. And if you would like to contribute in the future, make sure that you're subscribed and you're routinely checking the community tab on the Something Sinister channel. So without further ado, obviously want to give a disclaimer. Some of the images talked about on this are particularly nasty, disturbing, not safe for work. So there's your warning, I guess. And I guess other than that, thank you guys so much for taking the time to check out the video. And thank you just for continually subscribing. And I'll talk to you shortly. Jeff the Killer is one of the most notorious creepypastas on the internet. Born Jeffrey Woods, his origin story began at age 13 when he and his family moved to a new neighborhood. On Jeffrey and his brother Liu's first day of school, they were attacked by 3 bullies named Randy, Keith, and Troy, whom Jeff brutally beat up after they threatened to kill them with knives. Liu took the blame for it and was arrested, sending Jeff into a deep depression. The bullies later attacked Jeff once again at a party, and Jeff killed one of them, but not before being covered in bleach and lit on fire by Keith. During this fight, Jeff's mind permanently snapped. There are 2 known widespread versions of the early Jeff the Killer image. The earlier variant uses different eyes and a non-distorted smile compared to the second and more famous edit. Both variants could be seen on numerous Japanese image boards throughout the mid-2000s before becoming popularized by user Killer Jeff on Newgrounds. The first repost on a non-Japanese website was on speedguide.net, dating to October 23, 2005. Although the picture was unarchived, the image's original name was prettyface.jpg. The user behind the post was contacted, confirming that the image he posted was the early Jeff variant, and later made a blog post about his experience with the image. Ever since, there were no found reposts of the first variation of the image on a Western site in that time period. The second variant of the image that later went on to be used in the Jeff the Killer creepypasta first appeared again on the media sharing site pya.cc by user OmegaVolt on November 16, 2005. On 4chan, some users speculate that the still image is a screenshot of a girl's video call from livestream website Stickam. The story follows the girl, who appeared to be unattractive and was apparently autistic. A snapshot of her livestream mysteriously floated around 4chan's random boards. In the post's captions, the original poster impersonates the girl, asking if they were pretty or requesting to make the photo look more beautiful. Eventually, many respondents participated in tampering with the picture by progressively making it more repulsive. The original poster proceeded to complain about the photoshops as more were made. As a result, the poster has since left the board entirely. Saturn Devouring His Son is a painting by Spanish artist Francisco Goya. It is traditionally interpreted as a depiction of the Greek myth of the Titan Cronus, known as Saturn in Roman mythology, eating one of his offspring. Fearing a prophecy foretold by Gaia that predicted that he would be overthrown by one of his children, Saturn ate each one up until their birth. The work is one of the 14 so-called black paintings that Goya painted directly on the walls of his house sometime between 1819 and 1823. Goya depicts a large figure feasting on a human form. The figure's head and part of the left arm have already been consumed. The right arm has probably been eaten too, though it could be folded in front of the body and held in place by the large figure's thumbs. The larger figure is on the point of taking another bite from the left arm as he looms from the darkness. His mouth gapes and eyes bulge widely. The only other brightness in the picture comes from the white flesh, the red blood of the corpse, and the white knuckles of the larger figure as he digs his fingers into the back of the body. Various interpretations of the meaning of the picture have been offered: the conflict between youth and old age, time as the devourer of all things, the wrath of God, and an allegory of the situation in Spain where the fatherland consumed its own children in wars and revolution. There have been explanations rooted in Goya's relationships with his own son, Xavier, the only one of his 6 children to survive to adulthood, and with his live-in housekeeper and possible mistress, as the sex of the body being consumed cannot be determined with certainty. If Goya made any notes on the picture, they have not survived, as he never intended the picture to be for public exhibition. The mood of the painting is in stark contrast to Rubens' Saturn, as the central figure is acting out of madness rather than calculating reason, and the consumed figure is completely lifeless rather than in clear pain. It is very likely that Goya had seen Rubens' Saturn in his life, but the degree to which inspiration was taken, if any, is unknown. Goya made a chalk drawing of the same subject in 1796. It showed a figure biting off the leg of one person while he holds the other one to eat, with none of the gore or madness of the later work. The rake is a creature believed to be a humanoid in appearance, with several references in folklore and horrific urban legends, originally appearing on the internet as a creepypasta. The creature reportedly attacks humans for unknown reasons and often causes its victim great psychological trauma. Several theories as to its development rake points towards the internet threads and online discussion boards. However, others believe alcoholic delusions fueled the idea of the creature even before then. The rake has also been tied to alternate figures, such as the Slender Man, an internet meme and subject to several video games. It is based on ancient folklore referencing an unnaturally tall and skinny man mysteriously lurking in the woods, and it is theorized that the rake could have possibly been a proxy of the Slender Man, subject to its own self-mutilation and psychological disorders. A YouTube channel showing images and footage captured of the rake was closed down, but if you search "the rake caught on tape," you will find a half-an-hour video showing you these episodes. And if you Google image, this one is probably one that you will find most often. Many people on Reddit believe that it's a promotional image for the video game Resistance 3, and it apparently shows what is supposed to be a Grim or an enemy from the game. The Slender Man meme began in June of 2009 when a competition on the comedy web forum Something Awful asked for ideas for a modern myth with which to terrify people. One contributor, Eric Knudsen, using the pseudonym Victor Surge, responded by posting 2 faked photographs purportedly from the mid-1980s, showing a tall, sinister figure lurking behind groups of children. Knudsen attached some vague text suggesting that 14 young people and the photographer had all gone missing. One caption reads, "We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time." Another caption reads, "One of the 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day that 14 children vanished for what is referred to as the Slender Man, deformities cited as film defects by officials. Fire at the library occurred 1 week later, actual photograph confiscated as evidence. We know that the photos used in the first Slenderman images were edited, but the original photos themselves have been seemingly lost with time. There are two main photos associated with the Russian sleep experiment, a story about an experiment supposedly conducted in the 1940s involving prisoners being subjected to sleep deprivation. The first one features men standing straight and wearing miscellaneous gas masks. It is a little strange that all of them are wearing different types of masks, given that this experiment was only conducted by the Russians, who would have been supplying them assumably the same ones. That's because this photo dates back to 1917 and displays the gas masks of the United States, Britain, France, and Germany forces. The second and more prominent image features a crazed-looking being sitting on some sort of surface and looking back at something. Its sunken eyes and sharpened teeth suggest that it was, maybe once human, but is now on the verge of something more sinister. The photo actually features a Halloween decoration titled Spasm, and if you search it, you can still get it on certain Halloween stores if you look hard enough. This image, which supposedly originated on a paranormal board on 4chan, features a rather creepy-looking dog. This photo, while its origins have never been completely figured out, can be traced back to a multitude of different images. A picture of a husky known as WTF Dog was used as meme content in 2009. The original image shares a lot of similarities to the more distorted and edited Smile Dog that we know today. This is the only theory as to the origin of Smile Dog. Momo is a sculpture that was put on display in Japan 2016. When cropped in, the image appears to be a woman's face, with unbrushed hair, bulging eyes, and a sinister smile. Images of the whole sculpture, made by artist Kazuki Osawa for the Japanese special effects company Link Factory, reveal that the woman's body has been replaced with bird-like clawed legs. Mother Bird, as the sculpture is called, was previously displayed in Tokyo's Vanilla Gallery and was first pictured as early as 2016. The sculpture appears to be Osawa's interpretation of the Japanese folklore character Yubyum, the representation of the ghost of a woman who died during childbirth, which was once closely associated with birds. Soon after, though its genesis is unclear, the image got the name Momo. The people across the world claimed the image was used in WhatsApp groups to convince children to commit suicide. This man began as a story online. The story follows a psychiatrist and a patient who disclose to him that they have been seeing this man in their dreams on a routine basis. Over time, the psychiatrist discovers that multiple of his patients have also seen the man. Later on, a website would surface advertising this man and requesting that people who have seen him to come out and tell their story. The website also featured multiple stories from people around the world, one being about a woman who found herself in an abandoned shopping mall and encountered the man who then would chase her down. Shockingly enough, most of the interactions with the man in the dreams do not come off as hostile. Instead, he often appears to give advice and help the dreamer along their way. This would eventually be exposed as a hoax, however, with the website being entirely fabricated, as well as the stories attached to it. The photo of the man used for This Man also surfaced. It was a normal photo, but edited to mirror the one side of the man's face, allowing for a more symmetrical look entirely. The Backrooms is an online urban legend originating from a creepypasta posted on a 2019 4chan thread, one of the most well-known examples of the internet aesthetic of liminal spaces, which depicts usually busy locations as unnaturally empty. The Backrooms was first described as a maze of empty office rooms that can only be entered by no-clipping out of reality. On May 12, 2019, an anonymous user started a thread on 4chan's paranormal-themed board, asking users to post disquieting images that just feel off. One of the posts was the original photo of the Backrooms. a picture of a large carpeted, open room with yellow wallpaper and fluorescent lighting on a Dutch angle. It is not known where the photo was taken exactly. There have been many false leads in the search of the original Backrooms image. The Backrooms image was uploaded to Colin's cold storage website by an anonymous contributor, which led people to believe that it was the origin of the image. A yellowed room was seen in the background of a photographer's liminal space collection in an abandoned parking garage, but the photographer debunked any connection with the Backrooms. 3D Backrooms images were uploaded to a specific set of coordinates on Google Earth, but this turned out to be part of an ARG. There were theories that the image was generated by an AI and thus doesn't actually exist, but this was more or less disproven by metadata analysis. SCP-173 is one of the most well-known SCPs of all time, and the first one ever written. SCP-173 is known to be extremely hostile. It cannot move while being viewed directly, and eye contact must not be broken. Personnel at a minimum of 3 are assigned to enter the container and are to alert one another before blinking. It is reported to kill its victim by snapping the neck of any human it encounters. The origin of the SCP-173 photo traces back to artist Izumi Kato, who constructed the art piece out of concrete. The statue is called Untitled 2004. So before we start to delve into sort of the more darker images that involve true crime, I thought it'd be a fitting moment in time to bring up today's sponsor. What we have here, ladies and gentlemen, has not been seen by my eyes. And that sponsor today is Hunt a Killer. I'm gonna adjust the angle so that you can see a little bit better. So Hunt a Killer is a mystery entertainment company that creates immersive murder mystery games. Each murder mystery presents an elaborate, evolving narrative filled with complex characters and realistic evidence for you to be the detective and determine the means, opportunity, and motive of the killer. Hunt a Killer games offer unique experiences based on the player's preferences for level of difficulty and time considerations, including single box small cases, premium mystery experiences, multi-part box set cases, or a monthly subscription storyline that unfolds over 6 months, 12 months, or even month to month. Hi. So there are many different games that you can pick from on Hunt a Killer's website. They just so happen to send me Death at the Dive Bar. And this game in particular looks like you can play solo or up to 14 people, which is great for if you're having like a party or some sort of group activity session. Another thing to take note of is the difficulty, which you can see right here. You can go up to 5 diamonds, but obviously we're just starting off easy because, well, I'm new to this. So obviously I've never had a sponsor on this channel before or like any of my YouTube endeavors whatsoever. So just a huge shout out to Hunt a Killer. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring and taking interest. And if you guys are interested in partaking in this immersive murder mystery experience, you can go down to the link in the description below. Go to Hunt a Killer's website and use code Sinister for 10% off of your first order. And now back to the video. Ayowaki is one of the internet memes revolving around the late Michael Jackson. Ayowaki is a deliberate misspelling of the lyrics "Are You Okay?" from Jackson's hit song Smooth Criminal, which is said to be in tune with the Spanish take on the lyrics. The meme was originally began by YouTuber Thomas Rengstorff, who created an animatronic version of the real Michael and published a video about it entitled "My Ghoul Jackson." The meme began to spread on January 3, 2019, with an edited version of My Ghoul Jackson and an added backstory behind the video. According to the urban legend, Ayowaki would sneak into its victim's room at night and whisper "hee hee" in reference to Michael's vocal riff. The growth of the Ayowaki became so pronounced, most likely because of the events regarding the demise of the Momo meme, that many believe that Ayowaki was the conglomeration of Michael Jackson and Momo. Ayowaki quickly became the exploitable meme, with many people taking the challenge of calling Ayowaki at 3 in the morning. An online game entitled Escape the Iowaki was released around the end of March, where the premise of the game is the player is kidnapped by the Iowaki, who takes them to his dark, disorderly mansion. The objective of the game is to escape the house without making much noise, as the Iowaki could hear everything in the house. The Iowaki is depicted as being a feral beast who tends to run on all fours and has an array of razor-sharp teeth. If caught, the Iowaki would kill the player, presumably by eating them alive. The game is currently in its first chapter, with the remaining chapters still being in development. This photo features cloaked figures surrounding a car. The image originates from Coven, which was shot in black and white with local talent around Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The short goes as follows. Mike is a writer struggling with a lack of artistic productivity. To deal with the pressures he feels from within and without, he escalates his abuse of alcohol. One day, when faced with overwhelming deadlines, he takes a large quantity of pills with alcohol, resulting in an overdose and hospitalization. When Steve takes notice of Mike's increasing volatility and isolation, he confronts the defensive writer, showing genuine concern for his friend's self-destructive behavior in the process. It is suggested, by the lack of others at the intervention, that Steve may be the only friend that Mike has left. Steve asks Mike to join a support group with which he is affiliated with. After gaining some perspective, Mike agrees. Soon, Mike comes to realize that the group has a deeper occult agenda and uses extreme, sometimes supernatural tactics to help the new members remain clean and sober. The making of the short was documented in the film titled American Movie, a documentary that I highly recommend watching if you're interested in the concept of filmmaking. This image originates from 2015 on 4chan. It is known as Erotus and is often misspelled to avoid detection. It is the name of the alleged computer algorithm that is said to conduct data surveillance of anyone who searches for the particular word on the web, while also leaving no traces of itself behind. Many suggest that the data collected by the algorithm is used by colossal companies such as Google in order to develop AI, or artificial intelligence machine, that can filter out humans, while others seem to think that its main use is to remove copyright infringement from content on websites like YouTube. The idea of it being an ARG is also present. Erotus might also be responsible for the disappearance of a YouTuber. A small YouTuber known as Kronos for Life uploaded a video on YouTube called Jurassic Park 3 Tribute in 2015. Around the 2-minute and 37-second timestamp of the video, though, a strange beeping noise can be heard. Independent researchers have identified the noise as being Morse code. The decrypted message of the code states the phrase Hollywood Astral Projection Clinic. Until this day, no one is certain about the meaning of the phrase. On January 26, 2016, Kronos for Life uploaded another video called Here Goes Nothing. The user claims that the video is purely made to act as bait for the supposed Erotus algorithm. To put it simply, Kronos believed that if that particular video got removed from the website, that it could be considered evidence for the existence of the Erotus algorithm. To add to the creepiness of the video, many internet users have discovered that the automatic caption system YouTube uses appears to make a couple of questionable mistakes. At the 12-second timestamp, it used to read, "Are far from over 200 Corbin, Kentucky 40219." At the 52 timesecond stamp, used to read 1111111. At the 1-minute and 43-second timestamp, it used to read 10.3%, 10.4%, and lastly, at the 2-minute and 17-second timestamp, it used to read "Overthrow the government." Keep in mind that automated captions on YouTube neither can be reviewed nor changed manually. As the name states, they are automated. The captions have since been improved and are more accurate, though concrete evidence of the malfunction previously mentioned existing can be found throughout the web. The last video uploaded by Chronos for Life YouTube channel was on January 28, 2016. No further updates were made on the channel since then, and to this day, nobody knows what exactly happened to Chronos for Life, causing many to speculate that the Eratus system had the user silenced for exposing the truth behind it. The image itself, often associated with Eratus, appears to be a very crudely drawn police sketch. 3D character artist Miguel Vasquez is responsible for the image you see before you. Vasquez is a talented 3D art creator who loves to bring his drawings as close to reality as possible. He has been famous for working on cartoon characters for a while now, trying to reimagine them as real human beings in the form of 3D drawings. He takes well-known characters and turns them into somehow disturbing and strange versions of a person, and it would be actually terrifying to meet any of them on the street by accident. The artistic take on the sponge and the starfish are a part of the Best Friends Forever project. Follow Vasquez on Instagram for more haunting images such as these. Ahenobarbus Henocide began as a mysterious Facebook page going under the same name. The page was known for sending horrific images to children on the platform, and in some cases, even pornographic images or websites. Henocide would also sometimes send children random geographical coordinates. These coordinates were traced to Harold E. Holt Communications, which is known for interfering with aircraft communications. There are also a cryptic message attached to at the end of the coordinates, which, when read backwards, translates to the end of humanity in Latin. The Facebook page has since been deleted after being reported. The infamous image, what most people know Ahenobarbus Henocide for, first appeared in a creepypasta titled Gurgles and Bugman. Nothing else is known regarding the origin of the image. This is a photograph of Christopher McCandless. It is the last photograph that was ever taken of him alive. On September 6, 1992, the decomposed body of Christopher was discovered by moose hunters just outside of the northern boundary of Denali National Park. He had died inside of a rusting bus that served as a makeshift shelter for trappers, dog mushers, and other backcountry visitors. Taped to the door was a note scrawled on a page torn from a novel. It read, "Attention possible visitors, SOS. I need your help. I am injured, near death, and too weak to hike out of here. I am all alone. This is no joke. In the name of God, please remain to save me. I am out collecting berries close by and shall return this evening. Thank you, Chris McCandless. August, ? From a cryptic diary found among his possessions, it appeared that McCandless had been dead for 19 days. A driver's license issued 8 months before he perished indicated that he was 24 years old and weighed 140 pounds. After his body was flown out of the wilderness, an autopsy determined that it weighed 67 pounds and lacked discernible subcutaneous fat. The probable cause of death, according to the coroner's report, was starvation. The final note, which Chris is holding in this photo, reads, "I have had a happy life, and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all." This image originates from the creepypasta simply titled Mario. The exact origin of the distorted image is mostly unknown, but some Redditors have theories. One writes, "I couldn't help but notice how much the image resembles the Spanish meme Ayawaki, which is just Michael Jackson but distorted and flipped. To me, the eyes and the nose are exactly the same. Maybe a picture was taken from the original Ayawaki video and then edited." Other users believe that the photo is an edited picture of Alyssa Bustamante, a woman who killed her neighbor when she was a child. I'll insert that photo here. Let me know what you think about this theory in the comments below. On the subject of true crime, this famous photo of a young man's reaction to his prison sentencing is among one of the most disturbing photos I have ever seen. The young man's name is Jacob Matthew Morgan. In 2015, Morgan was left alone to watch over his younger brother, who was only 14 months old. While the brother lay asleep in his crib, Morgan set fire on 2 sides of the house. Deputy Solicitor Willie Thompson said that Morgan waited outside of the home as it burned, didn't call for help or save his younger brother, all of which showed malice. But Morgan's parents said that he was told to stay away from the fire by his neighbors, who held him back as he tried to get back inside to save his sibling. They also argue that Morgan, who also had developmental issues and struggles to read or write, admitted starting the fire under duress after a 5-hour interrogation, which was not even recorded. Investigators said that Morgan gave them a number of different accounts as to how the fire started. First, he said that he accidentally threw a pillow near a heater, but later said that he lit the pillow on fire and threw it in the air, authorities said. Fire experts said that evidence suggested 2 fires were started, with one in the living room and another on the blanket in the master bedroom where younger brother Joshua was sleeping. Prosecutors also argued that Morgan told the police that he was fascinated with fire and had set one in the house 2 weeks earlier. Morgan was sentenced to 15 years in prison without the possibility of parole. This photo, known as The Intruder, originates from 4chan in 2010. The original post reads, "Here's the bomb I'm about to drop. This image here, I cannot stare at it for more than a few moments. It haunts my brain. Even now, just choosing the file from a bunch of thumbnails. I can't see this at 100% zoom. I don't know why, but it's just wrong. The image is wrong. What it portrays I don't know. It scares me on a primal level I can't explain. Way deep down, a part of my animal self tells me that it wants to hurt me or that it's about to attack me. I just can't explain it. Official source is that it's just a really horrible police crime suspect recreation drawing from a witness description, but it's still terrifying to me for a reason that I can't explain. I hope you feel the same horror that I do. Good luck. I'm out of this thread now." The photo has gone on to be a source of many memes and other types of ARG content. Most prominently, the image is associated with captions that read something like, "I forgot to mention, I'm in your walls." Teddy is yet another creepypasta story. It is also where this image surfaced for the first time that we know of. The story is about a creepy-looking teddy bear that seemingly follows our protagonist as she moves out of her childhood home. The bear is described as follows. The thing had eyes that looked so real. It was as if it was made from a real bear, and its face was just blank and unsettling. The doll is apparently from a Russian show called Chabarushka. The wallpaper seen in the background of the photo is reportedly common in Russian apartments, especially from the 1970s, which was around the same time that the teddy doll was manufactured. Mexican artist Teresa Margolles was born in 1963 in Culiacan, a city marked by drug trade and the violent death of many young people. She then sought to transcribe this trauma through installations, photographs, and performances. A graduate in forensic medicine and communication science, in 1990 she became a part of the Semifo collective, which emerged from the Mexican underground with violent works based on corpses, residues, traces, clothes, and fragments of items collected from crime scenes. The main medium of her work comes from the morgues themselves, which she transforms into sensory experiences and provoke a feeling of memory to the audience. Margolles finds it particularly remarkable how the activity inside of morgues reflects the truth from the outside. In the case of Mexico City, she observes that the majority of victims belong to the lower classes. Looking at the dead you see in society is something of a motif in her work. The work you see before you, entitled Carousel, features the preserved corpses of 5 horses. They hang from chains while long, sharpened metal spikes sit below them. Blanche Monnier was a woman from France who was secretly kept locked in a small room by her aristocratic mother and brother for 25 years. She was eventually found by police, but then was middle-aged and in an emaciated and filthy condition. According to officials, Monnier had not seen any sunlight for her entire captivity. Prior to this, she was renowned for her beauty and attracted many potential suitors for marriage. In 1876, At the age of 27, she desired to marry an older lawyer who was not of her mother's liking. She argued that her daughter could not marry a penniless lawyer. Her disapproving mother, angered by her daughter's defiance, locked her in a tiny, dark room in the attic of their home, where she kept her secluded for 25 years. Mother Louise and brother Marcel continued on with their daily lives, pretending to mourn Blanche's disappearance. None of her friends knew where she was, and the lawyer whom she had wished to marry died unexpectedly in 1885. Monnier was rescued by police in 1901 from appalling conditions, covered in old food and feces, with bugs all around the bed and floor, weighing barely 55 pounds. One policeman described the state of Monnier and her bed. The unfortunate woman was lying completely naked on a rotten straw mattress. All around her was formed a sort of crust from excrement, fragments of meat, vegetables, fish, and rotten bread. We also saw oyster shells and bugs running across Mademoiselle Monnier's bed. The air was so unbreathable, the odor given off by the room was so rank, that it was impossible for us to stay any longer to proceed with our investigation. Her mother was arrested, became ill shortly after, and died 15 days later after seeing an angry mob gather in front of her house. Her brother, Marcel, appeared in court and was initially convicted, but later was acquitted on appeal. He was deemed mentally incapacitated, and, although the judges criticized his choices, they could not find that a duty to rescue did not exist in the penal code at the time with sufficient rule to convict him. After she was released from the room, Monnier continued to have mental health problems. She was diagnosed with various disorders including anorexia nervosa, schizophrenia, exhibitionism, and coprophilia. This soon led to her admission to a psychiatric hospital where she died on October 13, 1913, in apparent obscurity. The Vulture and the Little Girl, also known as The Struggling Girl, is a photograph by Kevin Carter which first appeared in the New York Times on the 26th of March, 1993. It is a photograph of a frail, famine-stricken boy, initially believed to be a girl, who had collapsed in the foreground with a hooded vulture eyeing him from nearby. The child was reported to be attempting to reach a United Nations feeding center about half a mile from Ayad, Sudan, now South Sudan, in March of 1993, and is said to have survived the incident. The picture won the Pulitzer Prize for Feature Photography Award in 1994. After being published, many New York Times readers called the paper, inquiring about the fate of the child. Carter reported that after taking the photo, he chased the vulture away. The child was able to receive food from the feeding center, but died 4 years later due to a strain of high fevers. The fate of Carter himself is also very bleak. On the 27th of July, 1994, Carter drove to Parkmore near the Field and Study Center, an area where he used to play as a child, and died by taping one end of a hose to his pickup truck's exhaust pipe and running the other end to the driver's side window. He died of carbon monoxide poisoning at the age of 33. Portions of Carter's suicide note read, "I'm really, really sorry. The pain of life overrides the joy to the point that joy does not exist. Depressed, without phone, money for rent, money for child support, money for debts, money. I am haunted by the vivid memories of killings and corpses and anger and pain, of starving or wounded children, of trigger-happy madmen, often police or killer executioners. I have gone to join Ken if I am lucky." The morning of September 11, 2001, Richard Drew was on an assignment for the Associated Press, taking photographs of a maternity shoot show in Bryant Park. Alerted by his editor to the attacks, Drew took the subway station to the Chambers Street subway station near the World Trade Center site. He took the falling man image while at the corner of West and Vesey Street from a low angle. He took 8 photographs in sequence after realizing that a series of loud cracking sounds was not that of falling concrete, but rather people hitting the ground. He took between 10 to 12 different sequences of images of people jumping from the tower before having to leave the site due to the South Tower's collapse. The falling man is a photograph taken of a man falling from the World Trade Center during the September 11th attacks in New York City. The unidentified man in the image was trapped on the upper floors of the North Tower, and it is unclear whether he fell while searching for safety or he jumped to escape the fire and the smoke. The photograph was taken at exactly 9:41 a.m. on the day of the attacks. The photograph was widely criticized after publication in the international media on September 12, 2001, with readers labeling the image as disturbing, cold-blooded, ghoulish, and sadistic. However, in the years following, the photo has gained acclamation. Thank you guys for watching and continuing to subscribe and support the channel, and don't forget to check out Hunt a Killer in the description down below.